We finally have answers. I don't think people are aware at the absolute level of destruction we've just unleashed upon some of the worst people in human history, but apparently a lot of idiots are very unhappy about this. No, leave my Islamic dictator, terrorist, pedophile alone. No, essentially, we have to deal with idiots like that on our streets, but the ultimate result is absolutely diabolical. Well, we have answers, we have results. It looks like things are winding down, actually. We sunk their entire navy. We finally have information in regards to Trump taking questions from reporters, HEGSETH delivering remarks, Rubio taking questions from reporters. And honestly, I've never seen such a one-sided narrative in my entire life when there literally is a battle going on between good and evil, and we have absolute morons foaming at the mouth fighting on the side of evil. And also, I know that my coverage of this has been pretty good so far because the level of death threats I've been receiving lately has been honestly astronomical. It's pretty incredible. What? You mean to tell me that people that directly support Muslim terrorists are sending you death threats? I can't believe it. Well, you're gonna believe it. Crazy video for today. Subscribe because this blue retard on the internet gives you all the updates of all the things that happens the correct way. Alright, I'm not gonna sit here and morally grandstand. You get it raw when you have a terrorist regime that's attempted to assassinate Trump multiple times, unleashed unbelievable amounts of terrorism against the United States, killed hundreds if not thousands of Americans around the world over the last 47 years, and is directly planning on building an arsenal to destroy us and our homeland. My opinion is, if they try to kill you, you fucking kill them first. For some reason, a lot of people want to get nuked in order to justify a retaliation. I would prefer to kill them before they nuke us. Incredibly hot take. They're dead. The world is better. I say it without apology. I don't care. You can come at me with your Twitter Islamist bot armies, all right? These people are evil. They're pedophile, rapist, murderers. They've murdered tens of thousands of their own people. They wanted to destroy us, and I'm happy they're dead. Glad you're up to date. So, Operation Epic Fury is in full gear, all right? May Allah protect him, says this individual. And honestly, the greatest community note of all time, Allah didn't protect him. Yeah, pretty diabolical, honestly. Man, Allah really... he missed protecting that one, it seems. Now, one of my favorite things that's been going on the internet has been third worldists quite literally screaming about how this is a deeply unpopular war, and actually the United States is worse. Trump is worse, actually, than Ali Khamenei. All right, so you have like people like Cking. For some reason, he's in our country. God knows why we allow filth like this to be in our nation altogether. Who has done more damage to the world, Ali Khamenei or Benjamin Netanyahu? He expected the blowout of the century, and he got it. He actually got it. Yeah. So I mean, he tried to get all of his third worlder Islamist retards in his audience to vote this way. And then my favorite part is, after getting brutally ratioed in his own poll, he decides to flood to the comments, start screaming his head off. It's an empirical fact that Netanyahu killed more people and more civilians, more reporters, more human rights workers. He subjugated 5.5 million Palestinians. Like, he's trying so hard. He's trying so hard to come up with a reason why Netanyahu is actually worse than a terrorist, pedophile, murderer. Now, you can have whatever criticisms you want for Netanyahu. Netanyahu won wars that were declared on him, okay? Now, yes, I believe that if you are head of a country, you should actually try to win the wars that you are involved in, not kick the can down the road and send infinite people to their death. The really hot take is, if a terrorist... quite literally, terrorist organization attacks, rapes, and murders your people, you should fucking obliterate them. Yes, you absolutely should. So, I mean, listen, man, you can argue that Netanyahu caused more deaths. That argument would be wrong, because 650,000 people were killed in Syria because of the brutal Islamic regime in Iran, as well as Hezbollah, which is an Iranian proxy. So, you're objectively wrong here. That is completely and utterly, factually, and objectively true. But also, morality is not weighed by body count. You are literally rooting for a terrorist dictator that enslaved 90 million people. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. All right, and then of course he has to say, "Oh, the bots arrived. The bots arrived. It's all bots. His post is bots." It's my new favorite genre of tweets of people that are against this war making these polls. Do you want a U.S.-led war with Iran? Yes wins by 52-41. All right, Cking. All right, who's done more damage to the world? All right, Ali Khamenei. He's worse. Are you happy President Trump bombed Iran twice so far? Yes. Overwhelmingly, yes. Thomas Massey tried another one. Do you, the American people, think Congress should blah, 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 blah? No, trust the president. He's tried to reword it. It didn't work either. My guy, normal people are 100% pro the idea of proactively dismantling a potential nuclear existential threat. Okay? Shut up. Stop panicking and crying. Yes. But Nux, what about international law? There's no such thing as international law. Wake up, sheeple. Wake up. International law is fake and gay. We are international law. We have the most bombs, the strongest military. We are the law. Shut up and sit down and enjoy the fireworks. So, of course, I wanted to hone in on this a little bit. Do you, the American people, think Congress should debate the objectives of the war in Iran, vote whether we should make war, blah, blah, blah? And, of course, he lost the poll based. Anyway, now, I think this is incredible stuff. The reason why we can't do this is because Ilhan Omar made this tweet on February 26. Iraq was attacked by the U.S. during Ramadan. Not true. And it's sickening to know that the U.S. is again going to attack Iran during Ramadan. Ilhan Omar warned Iran before our attack. I think this is actual high treason. The U.S. apparently likes to strike Muslim countries during Ramadan. All right, whatever you say. Strike them when they're weak and hungry, I guess. Like, what do you want me to say? By the way, Iran declares every war on us ever during our holidays, all right? They attack Christmas markets in Germany, in Italy, in France, in England. They attacked Israel on Yom Kippur for the Yom Kippur War, on Simchat Torah, another Jewish holiday, for the October 7th attack. They attack on all of our holidays, whether it's a Christian holiday if they're attacking in Europe, Jewish holiday if they're attacking in Israel. Yeah, we're gonna bomb the shit out of them at time most convenient for us. Absolutely, we're not gonna let them finish praying to their whatever they're praying to. But more importantly, this is February 26th. This is before the attack started, and she, a member of our Congress, warned Iran that we are gonna attack them during Ramadan. I think this is high treason, quite literally. I really do. So yes, we're not going to actually get these retard third world migrants that quite literally have the objectives and ideologies that they would put Iran above us, okay? We're not going to let them in on our warplanes. We are infiltrated. I think this needs to be majorly investigated, and Ilhan Omar needs to get deported or jailed, one or the other. So this is a pretty banger line from Pete Hegseth, I do have to say.
Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel.
I don't know, bro. Based Pete Hegseth, based.
This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change.
Oh my God! He's just, every one of his lines is just straight fire. We're gonna look at his full address because this dude's been insane. He has been on fire lately. Oh my God, he's almost as on fire as Iran's capital right now. It's pretty insane stuff. Yeah, that's right. All right, you chant death to America, you get death from America. That's just how it works. Now, he published this separate little message. Secretary Hegseth's message to the Joint Force. Separate message that he published individual, little 2-minute video on his own channel.
This is the generational turning.
Oh boy.
This is your moment. This is the generational turning point America has waited for since 1979, and since the rudderless wars of hubris, my generation, our generation, endured. Don't listen to the noise. Just stay focused. Our commander-in-chief is steady at the wheel. We face a determined enemy, but you are better. But we must prove it every single day. History doesn't care if we're tired, if we're scared, or if the fight feels big. It demands warriors who rise anyway. Peace through strength, the warrior ethos, lethality, unity of purpose, those are not slogans. They're the beating heart of what it means to wear the uniform, that uniform.
Goddamn. You're goddamn right.
You think clearly under fire, you act decisively in chaos, you uphold the Constitution, and you uphold our country without hesitation. We are not defenders anymore. We are warriors, trained to kill the enemy and break their will. History is watching. Be the force you swore an oath to be: focused, disciplined, lethal, and unbreakable.
God, can you imagine if we had like the old Secretary of Defense retards out there being like, you could be whatever gender you want. Now we have this motherfucker. He rolls in, you gotta be lethal freaking warriors. God, it's just such a different morale in the entire country.
We will finish this on America First conditions of President Trump's choosing. Nobody else's. as it should be.
That's right.
And know this above all, President Trump and I have your back, always. Through fire, through criticism, through fake news, through everything. We unleash you because you are the best, most powerful, most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. May Almighty God watch over you, and his providential arms of protection extend over you. Godspeed, warriors, and keep going.
Amen, brother. Anyway, so obviously the third world is very unhappy with the fact that we actually seemingly have a badass, all right, in the charge of the Department of War. All right, so Pete Hegseth's title was changed last year from the Secretary of Defense to the Secretary of War. This is what Sneeko says. He converted to Islam and he became completely retarded, because he always has been. Under his right arm is an Antichrist tattoo. Pictured right is his slave master, who commands the U.S. military. You assume this is him meeting with our ally in a war, all right, as one should. Anyway, so this is the tattoo that he is referring to as a tattoo that's talking about the Antichrist? An Antichrist tattoo? Yeah, only he would say that. So for those of you that are unaware of his actual tattoos, this is a guy, he has Deus Vult, God wills it, all right? Yeshua, the Hebrew name for Jesus, a cross, all right? This is crusade tattoos, and this is Arabic for kafar. All right, kafar is someone that denies Allah, all right, someone that denies Islam, and he, Sneeko, is saying that this is an Antichrist tattoo. No, you are the Antichrist people. It's like, what are we talking about? Are we insane? This is crazy. Anyway, we got lots to talk about. So a lot of people thought that for sure this would be the end of Donald Trump. It will be end of Donald Trump's entire presidency. He went to war with Iran, something no one saw coming, which is a lie. He's literally said he was planning on doing this for 20 years. All right, he's been saying this forever. However, it turns out new major poll just found that Republicans surged 8 points in the 2026 congressional ballot. It's now tied 50-50 with the Democrats. We were previously 8 points behind, but now, because, you know, actually people like the idea of flying across the world, killing international dictators, all right, that have been massacring their own people, threatening our people, and killing our people. This is an objectively good thing, and the normal people see that, all right? No normal person is being here like, actually, this violated international law. No one's fucking saying that shit, all right? That's literally only on Twitter, where they get a lot of likes from Islamic bots from Pakistan or England or wherever they come from. So now, crazy update for the war. 2 days ago, the Iran regime had 11 ships in the Gulf of Oman. Today, they have 0. The Iranian regime had harassed and attacked international shipping in the Gulf of Oman for decades. Those days are over. Freedom of maritime navigation has underpinned American and global economic prosperity for more than 80 years. U.S. forces will continue to defend it. They had 11 ships, and they currently have 0. As you can see, this was their last boat. They touched our boats, and now all their boats are gone. This is so sad. So sad. Activate the Goy Beam, General. Hit them with the discombobulator. And they got discombobulated. As you can see, unclassified footage. They know they're like, we the Iranian Navy was a deadly threat to themselves. There currently is no more Iranian Navy. All right. For other updates in just war developments, confirmed the parliament in Iran has been destroyed in the recent round of airstrikes. All right, so they lost everything. They're trying to make believe that this is their master plan is actually to die as martyrs. All right, well, we're working together on that master plan, it seems. All right, Iran continues to maliciously launch ballistic missiles indiscriminately targeting military and civilian locations throughout the region. U.S. forces remain on the hunt to eliminate the threat. As the president said, our resolve has never been stronger. And we are obliterating their ballistic missile systems. Yeah, we're like, not only is this objectively the best thing we could be doing for America, but it is objectively a force for good for literally everyone. All right, these retards have been the source of instability in the Middle East for 47 years. All right, aside from massacring their own people and the people around them and starting all these freaking wars through Hamas, through Hezbollah, through the Houthis, through all these other bullshits. They destroyed Yemen. They destroyed Iraq. They are subjugating 90 million people in Iran that want to be free of this nightmare, and we are doing, objectively, by the grace of God, a fantastically, morally good thing by killing terrorist dictator pedophiles. I'm sorry, this is unbelievable. But what about Cenk? But Cenk is a fat Turkish man who's in our country that's really mad about this for some reason. Well, then Cenk can continue to have bad days, because by the grace of God, we're gonna continue fucking killing terrorists. That's right. Read your Bible. This is not only moral, but the idea of kicking the ass of these retards is biblical. Yeah, I see some real special gay people talking about how, but it says thou shalt not murder in the Bible. No. You misunderstand. Murder is unlawful killing. The Bible explicitly talks multiple times about how you go to war and you annihilate your enemy. All right? We're not handling the same issue here, it seems. Read Samuel, all right? Read Kings, all right? When God sends us to war, God demands victory and complete victory. And let's not forget, we would not be here if these retards literally didn't decide to build a nuclear weapon to try and kill us. Like, I'm not exaggerating, and we're gonna see what the president and Marco Rubio has to say about this. Now, for other war updates, apparently Israel has been planning this operation to kill Ayatollah Khamenei since 2001. Oh my God. Israel hacked into Tehran's traffic cameras. Tehran is the capital of Iran. Used AI to download the Iranian supreme leader's life pattern before assassinating him in his compound with a barrage of 30 missiles. CIA also provided a human source to verify the location of the Ayatollah before Israel struck, aiding the attack. I am so happy these are our allies. All right, listen, man, this is honestly incredible stuff. It's insane. Now, apparently Israel is carrying out a ground operation in Iran involving Mossad and special forces, which also is incredible for us. As I said the entire time, I do not want our American troops on the ground in Iran. I would like us to provide our aerial and maritime support, you know, blow the fuck out of these retards from the air, from the sky, from the sea. I don't want her to step foot on the ground. I don't want us to be involved in installing democracy or whatever. Let them handle that shit, all right? But if Israel wants to, then God bless our allies and let's hope they succeed, all right? I just don't want to be stuck in the Middle East in a forever war forever. This is what I've been said the entire time. I stand by it. I have never wavered on my position here at all. Iran is an existential threat. Installing democracy would be really nice. Now, we need, as an America first position, we need to remove the existential threat. We need to get rid of their ballistic missiles, get rid of their nuclear capabilities, and obliterate the current regime. Now, whatever they do with the pieces as it falls, that's on them, and I wish them the best of luck, and I'm happy that we could assist in liberating these people from this terrorist dictator. I don't want another Iraq, and this isn't another Iraq. And everyone's screaming about Iraq, 10 years of war, blah, blah, blah. They're all retarded. Don't listen to the noise. Cut through that shit. Of course, this is what Iran's been doing to Israel lately. This is just from one volley. They've been doing this like 10 times a day. Each one of these is another area where one of their ballistic missiles are targeted. Thank God, most of them are being intercepted. This barrage, for example, was all intercepted. However, this is what they're doing. This is just targeting civilians willy-nilly everywhere. And they've been doing this everywhere. They haven't just been doing this to Israel. They've been doing this to Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates. They've been doing it to Qatar. They've been blasting everyone all around them, spazzing out. Like, it's almost like they're terrorists or something. Now, this is the NATO secretary, all right? And this was a surprise to me. I did not expect this at all. But the NATO secretary comes out swinging that, yes, actually killing terrorist pedophile dictators that support all forms of terrorism is a good thing.
First of all, say that my thoughts are with the service members, the U.S. service members who made the ultimate sacrifice over the last couple of days. And let me also say that the commander-in-chief, the leader of the free world, President Donald J. Trump...
God! Man, could you imagine under Biden if they would have called him the leader of the free world? God, it's so good to be back.
I really commend what is happening here. Taking out KHAMENEI, taking out the nuclear capability in Iran, but also taking out the ballistic missile program in Iran. This is crucial. And what I see in Europe, I spoke with all the key European leaders over the weekend, is widespread support for what the president is doing, and also making sure that when it comes to logistics, access, defending key US interests in Europe and in the region, the Europeans are really stepping up.
Yeah, so obviously the Eurocucks didn't want to do anything before this happened. They were scared of blowback, especially England. As I covered in my previous video, England is occupied territory at this point. You know, they don't want to piss off their majority party of Muslims. It seems like the only Islamic country still on the side of Iran is England, ironically. But scarily enough, NATO took our side. Now, the UN, which is also Islamically occupied, was crashing out on us, right? The UN was like, no, it's an illegal war. It's illegal under international law. Well, send in the international law police, okay? Wee woo, wee woo. Where's the international law police coming to arrest us for international law crimes, okay? No one gives a shit. This isn't real, okay? International law is fake and gay. I've said this the entire time. I'll say it again. International law was invented by retards to try to contain and control powerhouses. That's literally what it was designed for. It was designed to give a vote to a tribe in Africa that eats every third baby, okay, to have voting power to veto us, the United States of America, to operate in our own best interests. International law is not actually real, all right? It's not real. It's never been real. It's this giant facade that they use to control us. It's fake and it's gay. And if they are planning on obliterating us with nukes and attempt to assassinate Trump multiple times, quite literally, fuck him. I'm happy they're all dead. That's right. Oh, but international law, but voting. I don't care. I'm happy they're dead. W. Huge W. Big orange W. But anyway, the Israeli UN ambassador shredded the UN over this.
The UN Secretary General Special Representative for Children and Armed Conflict, Vanessa Frazier, she tweeted last night.
Vanessa. Man, it's really nice that we're voting the fairer sex to be in charge of international law conflicts.
Condemning
this is amazing. This is crazy.
As attacks on Iranian schools, leaving a large number of casualties.
This is wild.
Mostly children.
This is insane, right? And this is the image that she posted to show that Israel and the United States struck an Iranian school.
That's from her tweet from last night. Horrible picture, indeed. She posted this graphic image.
This is going to blow your minds.
Families in Iran standing among rows of black body bags.
Heartbreaking.
I agree, it's a horrible picture. But this photograph is not from the past few days.
What?
It was actually taken at the end of January. The dead in these bags that you see were civilians killed by the Iranian regime itself.
Absolute mic drop moment. The UN is compromised. Holy shit, dude. They posted this image in body bags to condemn us and Israel, all right, for striking a school. This image was actually taken after the Iranian regime massacred over 30,000 of their own protesters, okay? And they had nothing to say about that. The Iranian regime systematically massacred between 30 and 100,000 people. Just massacred, butchered them in the streets, stacked them in body bags, all right? And the UN was silent. And now they're using images of Iranian terrorism and war crimes from this Islamic regime and claiming that it was us that did it. Honestly, mic drop, it's over. The UN is occupied. This is absolute, unbelievable levels of bullshit.
Killed by the same regime now firing missiles at our cities.
Right, so if you condemn this picture, all right, but why don't you condemn the actual regime that did exactly this, instead of using this as propaganda against us?
While this image is being circulated by a UN representative, Israeli children were being killed and injured by Iranian missiles. No tweet about them, no condemnation for them, no urgency for them.
Obviously.
Ms. Fraser.
Because they don't care.
If you wish to fulfill your mandate, condemn the Iranian attack that murdered Israeli children.
No, but they actually don't care, because they're actually on the side of the Islamic terrorist pedophiles. I'm glad we're all on the same page here. Now, if you want to really be sickened, this is the IRGC, actual Iranian terrorist forces hiding in a Tehran elementary school. All right, this is where the current military is, literally hiding in schools. Again, it's a war crime, not that anyone's counting, and the UN has nothing to say about this, but they are quite literally using children as human shields. Again, just like Hamas did in Gaza, just like Hezbollah did in Lebanon. And they all do the same shtick. And they will sit behind their human shields in order to use the corpses of Iranian children as their little propaganda puppets to talk about how horrible the United States is for attacking them. And this is where they are, sitting in an actual elementary school, to use children as human shields. So, and also, by the way, it's been proven that the United States quote-unquote strike on the Iranian school that killed 150 children was an Iranian strike. It's an Iranian missile that misfired and they blew up their own school. All right? I'm not even exaggerating. I covered this in a previous video. So, just layers upon layers of irony here. The UN will condemn us for this. The UN will condemn us for this photo, which was actually a photo from when the Iranian regime massacred their own people. All right, and she deleted it. All right, good stuff. She deleted the photo. People are attacking the photo, not the message, bro. These people are actually demons. They're actually evil people using these children, which are murdered because terrorists are fucking bad at their jobs or good at their jobs, depending on how you view the job of a terrorist, and they use it to attack us, all right? The IDF caught 15 Palestinian terrorists at checkpoints, hiding in a car, attempting to enter Jerusalem and murder Jews. You know, they're just catching them, and honestly, we have to be worried about this too, because we had an Iranian attack, Iranian-inspired terrorist attack in the United States too, more than one even. It's honestly insane, more than one even. Right? We had that one guy with the Iranian shirt that said property of Allah, killing people in Austin, Texas. We had another stabbing in Washington. It's honestly insane that these people are like this. Now, of course, the stock market is doing well because turns out war is good for stocks or something. Now, this is a crazy article. Groundbreaking new study finds Islamophobia may be partially caused by Muslims killing people all the time. Now, I personally cannot condemn this. Experts are baffled. Experts are baffled. Muslim scholar says it's okay to rape non-Muslim women to humiliate them. Experts are baffled as to why this rise in Islamophobia is happening in the United States. Perhaps it's Muslims killing people all the time, but that is still open to speculation. No one knows. Now, to understand the threat that we're actually facing, over 700 Iranian nationals were released into the U.S. during the Biden administration despite terrorism concerns. All right, so understand the level of internal threat we're dealing with. First, Democrats opened the borders on purpose. Then, Democrats let tens of millions of illegal aliens into our country, including at least 700 Iranian nationals, despite terrorism concerns. Now, Democrats refuse to fund the Department of Homeland Security, putting our country at heightened risk in the midst of mounting threats. This is unbelievable. And we have enemies from within, and it's so obvious. All right, now I've been getting tons of death threats over stuff like this. Very entertaining stuff. Taku's mangled corpse flying through the Tel Aviv skyline. I don't know how I would get to Tel Aviv, but apparently that's where we're at right now. All right, nice, sexy 60,000 likes. All right, I can't believe this is how I found out he died. 70,000 likes. You love to see it. Taku, haha, these memes are epic. The Iranian missile heading to his house. Again, this is pretty awesome. Just, I could pull up more tweets like this. Apparently, my coverage of this entire situation warrants my death by terrorists or something. Also, I am not in Tel Aviv. I find this a very fun narrative. I appreciate the narrative, but that's not where I am. I guess if you're Jewish, you must be living in Tel Aviv. I guess that's just how it works. But they're just anti-Zionists. They're not anti-Semites. So, yeah, anyway, thanks for the content, retards. Thank you for proving exactly what I've been saying the entire time is correct, that you actually quite literally just hate people for having a difference of opinion and you want them to die. Thank you. I appreciate it. Your demonstration has proven myself correct in ways that even I could not have done without your assistance. Thanks for the content. Sorry to disappoint. Anyway, the amount of death threats I've been getting is actually astronomical. These are just some of the viral ones. It's insane. Now, Donald Trump actually addressed all of this to reporters, right? Instead of just like an actual official address, he's finally talking to reporters about it. And honestly, they're all getting obliterated because quite literally, the left is trying to spin this narrative that this war is actually bad. Like, for some reason, it's bad to kill people that are directly trying to kill us.
And thank everybody for
again, it's a completely indefensible stance.
Please feel free to sit. So before we begin this important ceremony, and there's no ceremony that can be much more important than this, let me provide a brief update on Operation Epic Fury.
Oh boy.
Today, the United States...
Bro, you know he's naming all these operations himself. Midnight Hammer, Epic Fury, bro.
Its military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime.
Good shit.
Following our obliteration of Iran's nuclear program in Operation Midnight Hammer a short while ago, We warned Iran not to make any attempt to rebuild at a different location because they were unable to use the ones that we so powerfully blew up.
That's right.
But they ignored those warnings and refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons.
I'm so glad that Trump is saying it like it is, man. Our successful attack in Midnight Hammer obliterated their nuclear sites. So they decided to restart building nuclear sites. And actually, their massive plan was, according to Israeli intelligence, that they were planning on building the nuclear sites in locations that the B-2 bombers wouldn't be able to reach, like under mountains and shit. I mean, listen, who knows? But ultimately, the idea is, and this we've confirmed with our own intelligence, is that they were trying to rebuild nukes because their ultimate plan was quite literally death to America. That's what their entire regime was founded on, and that is what they were trying to carry out. So, yes, we were nice about it. We blew up their nuclear sites very successfully. We were very nice about it. And then we said, okay, did you learn your lesson? We're going to bomb the shit out of you if you don't stop. And then they didn't stop. So we bombed the shit out of them. That's how it works. Absolutely. You fuck around, you find out.
Weapons. In addition, the regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically, and this posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas.
God, I love a president that's actually willing to do this shit instead of waiting until we get hit to drum up morale. Like, you know, if Trump was actually just doing this for the polling numbers, he would have sit back and he would have let Iran hit us with a nice CBM before actually committing. And then everyone would have been like, wow, it's super justified. They attacked us first. You know, I'm so happy, quite literally, that that we have a president that's willing to bomb the shit out of them before we take hits from them.
The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America. The purpose of this fast-growing missile program was to shield their nuclear weapon development and make it extraordinarily difficult for anyone to stop them from making these highly forbidden, by us, nuclear weapons. We were the ones that were...
Oh, but who gives you the rights to tell them what they are and not allowed to do? Our overwhelming, lethal military gives us the rights to tell a regime that chants death to America what they have the right to do.
Complaining. We were the ones that wanted it stopped, but everybody was behind us. They just didn't have the courage to say so.
True. Now all the European countries are like, actually, this is a very good thing, actually. But yeah, no, obviously no one wanted to say that first.
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people. Our country itself would be under threat, and it was very nearly under threat.
It's kind of crazy. I still see people saying, like, but Trump's messaging isn't good. We don't understand exactly why we went to war. Because they wanted to kill us. Because they're developing weapons that would be capable of killing us. So we stopped them before they did that. Again, I don't even understand why this is controversial. And this isn't even up for debate. This is like an objectively proved fact by like every single country. Everyone agrees. This isn't like some random Israeli guy told this to us and now we're believing them and going to war. Like every single independent intelligence agency from the CIA to the MI6 confirmed that this was happening and that they were on the brink of doing this. Like, I don't understand why people are being so retarded about it.
I was very proud to have knocked out the Iran nuclear deal by President Barack Hussein Obama. That was a horrible, dangerous document.
Yeah, Obama was like, we'll just fund you forever. Just make a pinky promise. And Iran was like, sure thing. And then they got billions of dollars. They made a pinky promise. And they broke it. They broke it. They were enriching uranium. Like, objectively. This is a fact.
They would have had nuclear weapons 3 years ago, and they would have used them. But I'll not let that happen. For almost 47 years, this regime has been attacking the United States and killing Americans. Every time you see someone with missing arms and legs or a face that's been absolutely shattered violently, it was almost certainly caused by an Iran roadside bomb. They were put there by General Soleimani, who was the father of the roadside bomb. Very proudly, he thought.
Yeah, I see a lot of people saying, but the roadside bombs were in Iraq, not in Iran. They were literally made by Iran. That's also confirmed. Like, there's so much counter-propaganda I've been seeing lately, it's insane. But eyes on the mission, guys. Don't let these retards compel you with fake evidence and fake news. Right? Actually, do the research yourself. Right? This is quite literally a murderous regime that was willing to die in order to kill us. And we let them die.
but I terminated him in
We
my first
terminated
term.
him.
This
Oh my
was our
God.
last best chance to strike what we're doing right now and eliminate the intolerable threats posed by this sick and sinister regime. And they are indeed sick and sinister. Our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis, and
That's
their
right.
capacity to produce brand new ones, and pretty good ones they make. Second, we're annihilating their Navy. We've knocked out already 10 ships. They're at the bottom of the sea. Third, we're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon, never going to have a nuclear weapon. I said that from the beginning. They're never going to have a nuclear weapon. They were on the road to getting one legitimately through a deal that was signed foolishly by our country.
Barunkus
And finally, we're
Obungus.
ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies outside of their borders. And we thought we had a deal, but then they backed out.
Yep.
And they came back,
The
and we
rest
thought we
is
had
history.
a deal, and they backed out. I said, you can't deal
It's
with it.
almost like they didn't want a deal. It's almost like they were a regime predicated on terrorism and destroying and annihilating America and killing as many of us as they possibly could. And therefore, every time they're saying, we're going to make a deal, we're going to make a deal, their plan ultimately, and this is a fact, okay, was to string us along until we'd get a weak-ass bitch president, like a Kamala Harris or an AOC or a Gavin Newsom or like an absolute weak bitch, and then they would kill us. Like that. This was the plan. This was the plan. All right. Obama comes in, makes a pinky promise with them, gives them $1.7 billion. Trump comes in, dismantles it. Biden comes in, all right, makes a pinky promise with them, gives them $6 billion. All right, and then they were literally pretty close to making a nuke. They were enriching uranium at 60%, and then Trump comes in and puts a stop to it. Like, they were waiting, they were hoping that by titillating us with making a deal, oh, we'll just make a deal, we'll make a deal, it'll be bad, it'll be great, it'll be wonderful, the deal, obviously, you're crazy. And they would have pushed us until we'd eventually have a retard president that's not willing to do the thing, and then maybe our president at that point would respond after we were struck. Maybe. I just say maybe, because who knows if at that point they would just be in the pocket of these retards.
These people. You got to do it the right way.
That's right.
Today we grieve for the four.
Like, dude, when 9/11 happened, we said never again, all right? We didn't say, next time a 9/11 happens, we're going to hit back really hard. No. We said never again. We're not getting, ever, hopefully, with God's help, we never want to get to the position where a 9/11 happens in order to react. We want to stop these retards first. All right, and Iran, thank God, is retarded and stupid enough to publicly broadcast their plans of annihilating us every single day, thinking that us weak people in the Western world would not be able to do anything. And quite literally, if not for Trump, we might have been those weak people in the Western world not able to do anything. Look at England, all right? They thought that we were just going to become another England, another part of the caliphate, the United Caliphate.
Heroic American service members who have been killed in action.
Yeah, legends.
And send
heroes.
our love and support to their families. In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve to crush the threat this terrorist regime poses to the American people, and a threat indeed it is.
True.
We have the strongest and most powerful by far military in the world, and we will easily prevail. We're already substantially ahead of our time projections, but whatever the time is, it's okay, whatever it takes.
We're ahead of the timeline. We thought we'd only kill 47 of their leaders. We actually ended up killing 80 of their leaders. Very awkward indeed.
We will always...
Look, man, this is what I told you from the get-go, all right? This is an in-and-out war. We go in, we eliminate their leadership, we take out their weapons capabilities, we eviscerate their infrastructure, and hopefully the Iranian people are able to rise up and actually make something out of the ashes, because this regime needs to go. This is honestly incredible stuff.
And we have, right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do it. Whatever somebody said today, they said, oh, well, the president wants to do it really quickly. After that, he'll get bored. I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this. Do you agree with that, Pete? I don't think there's anything, Mr.
There's nothing boring about killing terrorist goat fuckers. You fuck a goat, you die. I don't make the rules. Oh, wait, I do.
I think there's
Oh
nothing
my
boring
God.
about it. Somebody actually said from the media, I think you'll get bored after about a week or two. No, we don't get bored. I never get bored. If I got bored, I wouldn't be standing here right now. I guarantee you that, to go through what I had to go through.
He's right.
We also projected 4 weeks to terminate the military leadership, and as you know, that was done in about an hour. So we're
Oh my God. We're ahead of schedule. We thought it would take us 4 weeks to kill the leaders. It took us 5 minutes.
ahead of schedule there by a lot.
Based.
But please join me in thanking every American service member.
And they died like rats. Rats in a trap. Meanwhile, Trump is going out. He's meeting media. He's meeting people. He's doing things in public. Awarding people Medal of Honors. Even Netanyahu, who's like in the backyard of Iran. He's going out there. He's seeing the people in public. He's in public all the time. All right, and these retards cowering like sniveling rats in a trap. Obliterated within the first 5 minutes of a war. Bro dedicated his life to war with the United States, and he died in the first minute of the war. Zero aura.
Who bravely is standing in harm's way. They really are incredible, and I just want to thank you. We have a lot of them right here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Legends. Thank God.
Thank you, everybody. We have a lot of great service members here with us, too, in this beautiful building. Isn't it beautiful? We're adding on to the building a little bit.
God, I love this guy. Anyway, so Rubio also cooked, apparently. Apparently, Rubio also went nuclear on these reporters. Because, quite literally, it's an untenable position to think that the reporters are trying to hit us with their ethical, moral standards. Again, remember where this is coming from. This is coming from the Democratic Party that let in 30 million illegal aliens into our country. We have no idea who's here. They're raping and killing us. They're arguing against our ability to deport rapists and murderers from our streets. Okay? All right, that's who we're dealing with. People that are so immoral, they're murdering babies and castrating children on an industrial scale throughout the country. And these people are morally grandstanding, telling us why we're not allowed to eliminate people that are directly trying to kill us. All right, understand where it's coming from, first and foremost.
So look, the United States conducted this operation with a very clear goal.
All right, let's go. What's the goal? Let's go. Lay it out for us,
I haven't
Rubio.
got a chance to see a lot of reporting.
Oh, wait, apparently Trump laid out the terms exactly. Hold up. All right, here we go. We got the objectives. I can't believe he laid it out.
Objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis.
Good.
Their capacity to
Based.
produce brand new ones, and pretty good ones they make. Second, we're annihilating their Navy. We've knocked out already 10 ships. They're at the bottom of the sea.
All of them. We
Third,
knocked out
we're
11 now,
ensuring that the world's number
got all
one
11.
sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon. Never going to have a
Based.
nuclear weapon. I said
right.
that from the beginning.
That's
They're
3.
never going to have a nuclear weapon. They were on the road to getting one legitimately through a deal that was signed foolishly by our country. And finally, we're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist
Good.
armies outside of
God.
their borders.
Based. That's the objectives.
we thought-
Look, regime change would be lovely, all right, if the people wanted to rise up. I urge anyone to do so. Please, please, please get your freedom back. All right, get your country back. Our objectives are simple. They can't have ballistic missiles. They can't have nuclear weapons. They can't have a navy that's disrupting our trade. And they can't be funding and arming terrorist proxies around the world.
We had a deal, but then they backed out. And they came back, and we thought we had a deal, and they backed out.
Yeah, they do that. So yeah, that's the objectives. Destroy the missiles, annihilate the Navy, it already happened, ensure that they don't get a nuke, and ensure that they can't arm terrorist armies outside of their own country. Based. Heck yeah. Now, surprisingly, before we get to Rubio, the number one person that seems to be pushing against this this war on our side, and by our side I mean like the American right, because obviously the left, they have Trump derangement syndrome, they're retarded, is Tucker Carlson. For some reason, Tucker Carlson is purely, like, again, I've been calling this guy out a lot lately because he is pushing Islamist propaganda constantly in the United States, for those of you not paying attention. But recently, he came out with a massive claim on his show just yesterday, how Israel was setting up false flags. I'll just let you hear him say it.
Last night, in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, authorities arrested Mossad agents planning on committing bombings in those countries. Now, that's weird. That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make sense.
Why would the Israelis be committing bombings in two Gulf countries, which are also being attacked by Iran? Aren't they on the same side?
They are, yeah.
No. No. Israel wants to hurt Iran and Qatar and UAE and Saudi and Bahrain and Oman and Kuwait.
What is going on here? Now, for the record, Iran bombed Oman and Kuwait and Bahrain and Saudi and UAE, etc. Iran has bombed them since this war started. Now, he's claiming that Qatar arrested secret Mossad agents planting explosives in Qatar. All right, this is what Tucker Carlson said on his show yesterday. All right, I'm not even exaggerating. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. He provided zero evidence for this, but he said that this was happening. Excuse me? What? Our ally is bombing our other allies? That's crazy. Well, breaking news, the Qatar's foreign ministry denies Tucker Carlson's claims. There is no evidence of Mossad cells operating in the country. Of course, Grok, is that true? And yes, it is true. Qatar's foreign ministry spokesperson, Majed Al-Ansari, stated today there is no information on Mossad cells operating in the country, directly responding to Tucker Carlson's claim. Carlson alleged on Monday, based on unconfirmed reports, no sources cited, even Grok says he had no evidence, that Qatar and Saudi arrested Mossad agents planning bombings to sow chaos in Gulf states amid the Iran conflict. No independent verification of arrests found. This is according to Al Jazeera. All right, Islamist propaganda outlet extraordinaire is saying that Tucker Carlson is lying. I am shocked and appalled by this one. I'm not gonna lie, because it's insane. Now, the craziest thing is Tucker Carlson seemingly would have been for this war just like 2 months ago.
So if there's evidence that Iran paid hitmen to kill Donald Trump and is currently doing that, where's that? Like, what are you even talking? I've never heard that before.
You've never heard that before? DOJ announces charges in Iranian plot to kill Donald Trump. This is from CNN. You never heard that before, really?
Okay, where's the evidence? Who are these people?
Where's the evidence? There were trials. There were juries.
Been arrested.
Excuse
Why are we not
me?
at war with Iran?
There are people arrested for it.
Why are we not at war with Iran? Why are we not at war with Iran?
That's a great question.
Yeah, anyway, it's shocking that this is happening. Absolutely, positively shocking that this is happening. So he's saying if there is evidence that they tried to assassinate Trump, why aren't we at war? Well, there is evidence that they tried to assassinate Trump. All right, and now he's saying that actually this is war is an excuse for Israel to bomb all the Arab countries. Iran bombed all the Arab countries, okay? And now he's saying that Israel has sent Mossad agents that were arrested by Qatar. Qatar denied the claims, and Qatar is no fan of Israel, okay? Qatar housed Hamas officials. Qatar is no fan of Israel. But even Qatar is saying that Tucker Carlson is lying. This is terrifying. Quite literally terrifying. I don't trust this dude at all. Holy crap. So yeah, keep your eye on the real PSYOP is what I'm trying to say. There are a lot of people that are manipulated by a lot of foreign forces that are trying to convince you of things that quite literally aren't true. Pay attention, keep your eyes open. I'm not saying I'm always going to be accurate, but I'm always going to try. I'm not paid by anyone, not funded by anyone. I'm just a blue retard on the internet doing my thing, calling out retards and making fun of dipshits. I also support the death of terrorists and pedophiles in general. In fact, I'll go one step further. Every single value that I actually profess on this channel can be traced back to the Bible. Go to a war to annihilate your enemy? That's biblical. Kill them before they kill you? Biblical. Do not let foreigners into your country to the point that they just start to control you? Biblical. Stated in Deuteronomy. I don't know who some of these other guys are worshiping, but it's obviously not the same guy. Anyway, Marco Rubio, as promised. Let's hear what he had to say before we get to HEGSETH shredding reporters.
So look, the United States conducted this operation with a very clear goal in mind. I haven't got a chance to see a lot of reporting. I don't understand what the confusion is.
He's so right. He's so right. I open every single piece of media because I do a ton of research for these videos. You know, I end up reading a metric fuck ton of shit before I actually put a video together here. I'm doing my absolute best. And what's absolutely shocking to me is how the media is straight up working for Islamic terrorists. I don't even know what to say. They're out there, they're pushing shit, war bad, war illegal, war is terrible, Khamenei did nothing wrong, you know, like, the New York Times wrote a whole obituary, I covered this in my previous video, how Khamenei was a sweet-looking old man with a bushy beard. Unironically, that's what they said about him. He was strong, and he managed to shape the region. Dog, they wouldn't give Trump an obituary that nice after he dies. You know, God help him. May he live to be very old. And Khamenei not only legalized child marriage at the age of 9, but said that you have to rape female prisoners before executing them so they don't go to heaven as a virgin. I'm not even kidding. Like, we're dealing with a whole ass other level of evil here. And we have the entire Democrat media literally glazing the guy. Making believe this is a complicated war. We don't understand why we're doing this. We understand. Well, of course we understand. They've been trying to kill us for 47 years, and they're actually really close to actually posing a threat. So we're neutralizing the threat before they kill us. This is the most obvious thing in the universe. But the media is making believe it's so confusing, and we don't understand why this is happening. Like, this narrative is insane, and I'm happy Rubio is calling it out.
Let me explain it to you, and I'll do it once again as clearly as possible. Perhaps you'll report it that way. The United States is conducting an operation to eliminate the threat of Iran's short-range ballistic missiles and the threat posed by their Navy, particularly to naval assets. That is what it is focused on doing right now, and it's doing quite successfully. I'll leave it to the Pentagon and the Department of War to discuss the tactics behind that and the progress that's being made. That is the clear objective of this mission. The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond and respond against the United States. The orders...
I mean, that was proven correct. We literally are watching in real time Iran lash out. They struck Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Riyadh. All right, they're hitting every country around them. Kuwait, Bahrain. So yeah, obviously, if Iran would ever get under a little pressure, of course they would bomb our bases. They quite literally chant death to America in the streets. They call America the Great Satan. Okay, like obviously he is correct here.
Had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic, and in fact it bared to be true, because in fact within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is...
It's honestly true. For all we know, they would have struck within hours. For all we know. I'm so happy this was a preemptive strike. Like, watching the media tear itself to shreds, essentially wishing that we would have taken casualties before we went to war has got to be the dumbest position I've ever seen in my entire life. This is a regime, we know they're trying to kill us. We know they want to kill us. We know they're developing weapons that they want to use to kill us. Why should we wait until they kill us to respond? Like, I don't understand this concept at all. Again, biblical. Before they kill you, you kill them. Yes, correct.
The assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties.
True, obviously.
And so the president made...
And also, we probably wouldn't have been able to take out the entire leadership in one shot. All right, there was an element of surprise to this as well. All right? Like, the surprise was we took out their entire leadership in one shot. Now all their entire military is scatterbrained. Every commander basically doesn't have a higher up to take orders from, so everyone's operating themselves. They're firing missiles aimlessly. We managed to shred them completely. Everyone was saying like, even Tucker Carlson has been saying, we're going to lose thousands of men after 10 years of conflict. You know, thank God that didn't happen, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. But it really doesn't look like that's going to happen.
The very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces, and we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here.
Correct. Look, and I see a lot of people are trying to take this clip out of context to make it sound like Israel forced our hand and stuff. I saw people misinterpreting that as well. There is no way to interpret that. Israel is existentially threatened by Iran. Iran attacked Israel multiple times. Next time Israel attacks Iran, inevitably they will, because death to Israel, death to America is literally the chanting of Iran. Israel is the little Satan, America is the great Satan, according to these guys. All right? It would have inevitably happened that Israel would strike Iran at some point. Inevitably. That's gonna happen. Why? Because Iran was planning on striking Israel. Iran already struck Israel. Iran's proxy struck Israel. So Israel's gonna strike Iran, and Iran is gonna fire their ballistic missiles at us. So yes, it's inevitable that we needed to obliterate them before they took casualties. like on our side, obviously. Again, this doesn't mean, it's crazy watching people try to run around and interpret this like in a million possible ways when it's so obvious. We're literally killing them before they kill us. Duh.
Here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act. Going back to the purpose. The purpose of this is to destroy that missile capability. Why does Iran want that ballistic missile capability? What they are trying to do, and have been trying to do for a very long time, is build a conventional weapons capability as a shield where they can hide behind. Meaning, there would come a point where they have so many conventional missiles, so many drones, and it can inflict so much damage that no one can do anything about their nuclear program. That is what they were trying to do, is put themselves in a place of immunity where the damage they could inflict on the region would be so high that no one can do anything about their nuclear program or their nuclear ambitions. They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month.
Damn.
Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month.
Holy shit. Yeah, intercepting a lot of people probably aren't aware of this, but intercepting a missile is infinitely harder than actually launching a missile. Right? Any retarded Houthi pirate can launch a rocket. Right? But intercepting it takes so much more technology. So yeah, if they're building 100 missiles a month and we're able to build 6 or 7 interceptors a month, inevitably we would be overwhelmed. And why wait? Why wait to the point where it's actually going to be a battle where we take mass casualties? Why not just eliminate the threat first? It's so obvious. It's so obvious. That's why I'm so frustrated, I think, by the media and by the leftoids, by people like Cenk Uygur actually getting people like, holy shit, Cenk is so right about this. No, Cenk's not right about this. Cenk is a inbred, 80 IQ, terrorist glazing retard. All right, he's not right about this. All right, it's unbelievable watching people trying to figure out what this is all about. Like, dude, this is an existential threat that we're removing before it actually threatens us. Because, duh.
They can build 100 of these a month, not to mention the thousands of one-way attack drones that they also have. They've been doing this for a very long time, and by the way, they've been doing it under sanction. You see the attacks they're conducting.
And they've been lying. Oh, just make a deal with them. Let's just do diplomacy. That's what Keir Starmer says. That's what Sanchez, the communist leader of Spain, has to say. Let's just do it diplomacy. You can't diplomatically reason with goat-fucking, pedophile, terrorist, retard, dictators that have already proven themselves as liars. Why do we just... Like, dude, this is, again, I always come back to that one quote from the Freerin anime. Like, dude, aged like fine wine.
Demons use words to trick humans.
That's it. That's as simple as it is. That's what words are to these guys. They're just tricks. They're just their little bag of tricks.
Right now, they're attacking airports. They're attacking hotels.
Yes.
They're hitting.
Where's the media? Where's the humanitarian retards? Where's everyone screaming that Iran is doing war crimes right now? Oh, America violated international law. These guys are violating international law daily.
Not just military bases, they're attacking our embassies directly. They're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military. And that's a weakened Iran. That's in Iran despite years of sanction.
Yeah.
Imagine a year from now or a year and a half from now
so
the capabilities they would have to inflict
Objectively.
damage on us. It's an unacceptable risk, especially in the hands of a regime that's run by radical clerics.
Yeah.
The Ayatollah is a radical...
Like, dude, people think that we could negotiate with these people because at least we share similar values at least. We don't. It's inbuilt in their radical Islamic fundamentalist religion that A, you kill everyone that's not a Muslim, all right? You know, if they're a non-believer, you smite them at the neck. That's literally what it says in the Quran. That's one. Two, they can use taqiyya, which is a lie, all right? Their religion tells them to lie to non-Muslims in order to further their aims and goals. Like, you cannot reason with people that think that, oh yeah, we should be raping women before executing them so they don't go to heaven as virgins. Dog, we're not in the same playing field, dude.
Was a
just negotiate. Retards. You are retards. You are letting these people into your countries and you are thinking that, oh, they're just like us. We each have the same ideologies. They're going to just assimilate in five minutes.
Cleric. That entire regime is led by radical clerics who don't make geopolitical decisions. They make decisions on the basis of theology, their view of theology, which is an apocalyptic one. That has to be taken very seriously.
Quite literally. They're willing to die if it includes killing us. Like, with North Korea, at least we have this idea of mutually assured destruction. If North Korea nukes us, we'll nuke them back, and they'll all be fucking dead. They obviously don't want that, therefore they're not going to nuke us. Iran doesn't share that ideology. Mutually assured destruction doesn't apply to people that think that they're in a death cult where they're more than happy to die to further their aims of killing us. Like, you even see now, retards like Sneeko being like, he was martyred, he's going to heaven. Dog, he was a rapist, pedophile, mass murdering terrorist, okay? Like, we cannot operate and tolerate even the conversation about this.
Well, so that was the purpose for what this operation is all about. That's what it's focused on. As the President said earlier today, it is on or ahead of schedule. I will defer to the Department of War to discuss the progress being made at a tactical level, but it was the right decision and an important decision for the safety and security of the world.
It's wild watching the media misconstrue such an obvious and true statement. Oh, but they don't want to be racist. No. Obviously, the radical Islamic regime is just like us. We're literally exactly the same.
Does Congress have to weigh it? Does Congress have to weigh it? Is the President declaring war, and does Congress have to weigh it? And was there an imminent threat? Did you tell lawmakers that?
Bro, shut up.
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked, and by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths.
That's right.
We went proactively
so you go in first.
in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen, and we didn't act preemptively to prevent more casualties and more loss of life.
The media is literally saying, well, we should wait until a 9/11 before we respond. Like, you have to understand what we're dealing with. We're literally dealing with a media that's more than happy to say, you should have waited until 9/11 happened to respond. You shouldn't have tried to stop 9/11 first.
Strike because of an impending Israeli action?
No, well, let me two things I would say. Number one is, no matter what, ultimately this operation needed to happen.
Again, I've said that too. It's inevitable. We might as well do it when we're the strongest and they're the weakest.
It's a question of why now. But this operation needed to happen because Iran in about a year or a year and a half would cross the line of immunity, meaning they would have so many short-range missiles, so many drones, that no one could do anything about it because they could hold the whole world hostage. Look at the damage they're doing now. And this is a weakened Iran.
Yeah.
Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen. Obviously, we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
Remember, first of all, Iran declared war on us. All right, a lot of people don't like to acknowledge this. Iran openly declared war on us, threatened our president, attempted to assassinate him multiple times. All right, openly declared war on Israel. Like, dude, this was gonna happen. Let's do it at a time where we don't take as many casualties as we possibly can.
President Trump said overnight that his top choices to now run Iran were killed in the strikes. Does the United States have a firm plan for how they intend to handle this power vacuum in Iran to ensure that an Iron hardliner does not take power?
So two things, and two things can be true. Number one is our mission and our focus is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities and their ability to manufacture them,
America
as well
first,
as the threat
baby.
posed by their Navy to global shipping. That's the objective. That said, we would not mind, we would not be heartbroken, and we hope that the Iranian people can overthrow this government and establish a new future for that country. We would love for that to be possible. But the objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities and of their naval capabilities.
So are you saying, based on that, are you saying that there is no responsibility, no plan for the U.S. to at least play a role in whatever government comes next?
We might. We'll see how circumstances play out. But I'm telling you what the objectives of this operation are.
This is crazy, dude.
The objectives of this
these questions are insane.
Operation are to destroy their ballistic missile capability and make sure they can't rebuild it, and make sure that they can't hide behind that to have a nuclear program. That's the objective of the mission. That said, abundantly clear, we would love for there to be an Iran that's not governed by radical Shia clerics. As I've said myself repeatedly for years, the leadership of that country does not reflect the people of Iran, and I think that's been pretty apparent in the protests that you've seen. If there's something we can do to help them down the road, we'd obviously be open to it, but that's not the objective. The objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capability.
Regime change has not gone well for the
Makes
United
sense.
States.
For what now?
Regime change has not gone well for the United States for many, many
Oh my god, dude. They literally recycle, like, the gayest talking points of all time.
decades. How do you assure the American public that things will not...
Dude, regime change in Iraq involved thousands of troops on the ground installing our own puppet democracy with Iraqis that quite literally, and I'm not trying to be rude here, their average IQ is 80. All right, the average IQ in Iraq is 80. The average IQ in Iran is 100. They're different freaking people. They're completely different. Why should we even make, like, not only is our operation different, we're doing this swiftly. Hopefully it'll take less than a month. We'll go in, we'll go out. We'll obliterate the retards that are trying to kill us. We're not trying to sit there and install our own puppets and shit like that. So it's unbelievable. It's like, do the reporters just assume that the average American is just completely retarded and therefore is just going to hear regime change and think all regime change is created equal? Like, it's totally different. It's totally different. The Iranians hate their current dictatorship. They're more than happy to install their own government. They are totally different and much more capable than people in Iraq. Okay? And also, we're not involved in the same way. It's actually mind-blowing.
Get worse for the next regime that comes in there and replaces the...
Well, we would love to see this regime be replaced. And ultimately, as the president has said, he calls... No, but let me finish.
Dude, shut up. Let the man answer.
As the president has said, he would love for the people of Iran to use this as an opportunity to rise up and remove these leaders. They've been wanting to remove them from a long time. We've seen successive waves of protests, and we've seen them slaughter people, okay? But the objective of this mission is to make sure they don't have these weapons that can threaten us and our allies in the region.
This is America First War. This isn't, we're going to install a new puppet government in Libya and see how that works out, all right? We're not doing that shit, all right? This is America First. They are a threat to us. Obviously, this is objectively good for the world, but it's also, and fundamentally, America first. We don't want them to fucking kill us.
We're doing what we're doing now, and while we would love to see a new regime, the bottom line is no matter who governs that country a year from now, they're not going to have these ballistic missiles and they're not going to have these drones to threaten us. That's the objective.
That's right. Even if, you know, God forbid, there's another terrible, radical Shia regime, they won't be a threat. At least not for years.
This mission is to deny them the ability to use ballistic missiles to threaten their neighbors, to threaten our bases, to threaten our presence in the region, and ultimately as a shield behind which they can do whatever they want with their nuclear weapons ambition. We were not going to let them hide behind that, and that's why this was such a critical mission to undertake now while they were at their weakest point, and not a year from now where they could inflict even more damage and perhaps already be behind that point of immunity. Right here behind, go ahead, you and then you. Yes.
Your critics in Congress have said that they should have a role, they should be able to weigh in here.
Yes, let's get Ilhan Omar, who's leaking our plans, involved. Let's get her involved.
And there are going to be war powers resolutions votes in Congress later this week. Why not notify Congress ahead of this and just...
Because they leak shit to the enemy. Because quite literally our enemy is already within. All right? That's why I'm so tired of like the whole rigmarole of look, man. We're living in a country that has been exploited, okay? Our goodwill, our generosity has been absolutely exploited by the worst people, right? We've let in hundreds of thousands of people that should not be in this country, millions that should not be here, and hundreds of thousands that directly hate our country and want to harm us. They have created voting blocks to install their own retards that are in our government. People like Rashida Tlaib, who says, fuck ICE. Fuck ICE? Fuck you. What do you mean, fuck ICE? We're literally having foreigners coming into power to destroy our immigration enforcement? Like, it's so hypocritical, it's insane. And the fact that we have enemies within is a major issue, and we need to deal with that.
Well, we did. We notified Congress. I mean, we notified the Gang of Eight. We notified congressional leadership. There's no law that requires us to do that. The law says we have to notify them 48 hours after beginning hostilities. We've done that. I think the notification went today. But we did notify members of Congress in advance. But we can't notify 535 members of Congress.
Vote to authorize the war.
Well, the Congress can vote on whatever they want, but there's no law that requires us to do that. And I want to say something because I see people on TV. Look, that's fine. If they want to take a war powers vote, they can do that. They've done that. They've done that a bunch of times. But there's no, people keep saying that there's no law that requires the president to have done anything with regards to this. To begin with, no presidential administration has ever accepted the War Powers Act.
A lot of people don't know this. Obama dropped 26,000 quote-unquote illegal drones in the Middle East, all right? So that dude's been bombing shit forever. But for some reason, Trump has different rules. We know that.
Constitutional. Not Republican presidents, not Democratic presidents. That said, we have followed the notification at 48 hours. We're here today. I've done more Gang of Eight briefings than I got in the 4 years that Biden was president and I was a member of the Gang of Eight. All of that said, we've complied with the law 100%. and we're going to continue to comply with it. We've done the notification, you know, and we officially to Congress, but we did notify members of Congress. We just can't notify 535 people. That's not possible, but we did the Gang of 8 twice. I briefed them last week, and then I called them the night before the operation.
Can you tell us what you know, Mr. Secretary, of the administration knows about the strike on a building in southern Iran that the Iranians are saying was a school, reports of large numbers of civilians, including children killed?
Yeah, I've seen those reports. I don't have, I would refer you, not because I'm not trying to answer your question, but I don't want to get it wrong. The Department of War would be investigating that if that was our strike. And I would refer your question to them, and I'll make sure they're aware that you have that question.
It's almost certainly not our strike.
But we'd like to know.
An American missile.
Well, clearly, the United States would not deliberately target a school. Our objectives are missiles, both the ability to manufacture them and the ability to launch them, and the one-way attract drones. That would be our focus, and that's what we would be focused on. We would have no interest and, frankly, no incentive to target civilian infrastructure.
He is right.
The Iranians are, on the other hand, targeting civilian infrastructure. You guys have seen it. I'm sure you've seen it. They're hitting hotels.
Of course, the media doesn't care.
They're hitting embassies. They're hitting airports. They're hitting oil infrastructure. Well, it'd be very tragic, but I can't speak to the details behind it because I just don't have it. It would be a tragic outcome if it's happened. I don't have the details as to what led to it. But what is clear that the United States would not deliberately target a school.
Dude, Rubio's cooking. He's great.
They are, on the other hand, deliberately targeting civilians, as you've seen, because you know why? They are a terroristic regime. They sponsor terrorism and they participate in terrorism.
True.
What's your message to Americans who are concerned about rising energy prices given the spiking of oil prices today?
Yes, and we knew that going in would be a factor, and so we have a program in place.
We knew that going in would be a factor, which is why we took Venezuela first. We knew oil would be a problem, so therefore we took Venezuela.
That will begin to be implemented by Secretary Wright, Secretary Bessent. We talked about it
last night. This is all part of the plan of capturing all the El Presidentes. We're going in order.
Last night, again, about this program. We talked this morning, and starting tomorrow, you will see us rolling out those phases to try to mitigate against that. Obviously, markets are going to be reacting to news about what's happening. And again, a reminder, think about it, okay? This terroristic regime...
Dude, it's inevitable that we needed to do this war. It's just good that we're doing it at a time where they're weaker, as opposed to a time where they can fucking kill us. Like, it's unbelievable that people are just fighting over this.
Radical clerics has the ability, potentially, to shut off 20% of global energy. That's the kind of leverage they have because of their navy.
They could shut off the Strait of Hormuz whenever they want to, and they've threatened it multiple times, which is where 20% of global energy travels through.
We're going to destroy their navy. But there is a plan in place. We anticipated this could be an issue, and Secretary Wright and Bessent will begin to roll out those steps starting tomorrow to mitigate against the impact that could have. I got to do this briefing, so I got a couple more.
Do you anticipate putting boots on the ground, and how long do you anticipate the conflict to last?
Well, we don't. Let me say two things about it. Number one, the president always has the options to undertake whatever operations he decides to do as the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
That said, we believe the objective that we have set for this mission, which is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities, both launch capability and manufacturing, can be achieved without ground forces. Right now, we're not postured for ground forces, but obviously the president has those options. He's never going to rule out anything.
Good. But don't rule out anything. Let them shake in fear.
Right now, our focus is on the destruction of their ballistic missile launchers, their ballistic missile stockpiles, and their ballistic missile manufacturing capability, as well as their one-way attract drones and their navy, because of the threat it poses to global shipping.
How long is that?
Good shit.
All right, I can only do one more, right there in the middle. Yes, sir.
Is there a diplomatic exchange going on right now between U.S.
These people are actually retarded. I'm telling you, man. Every time I hear a reporter ask a question, I have to question my sanity. Like, is the average American so fucking stupid that they listen to this and they're like, holy shit, we didn't think about diplomacy with these radical terrorists?
Any exchanges whatsoever outside?
No, not at this time. I mean, look, we always have people that reach out from inside of governments.
Bro, yeah, now obviously they want diplomacy. Now that we obliterated their fucking faces. All right, it's absolutely insufferable stuff. All right, Steve Witkoff, he's our ambassador in the Middle East. He dropped a bombshell apparently, and it's insane.
80% materials.
All right.
Can be brought to 90%. That's weapons grade, in roughly 1 week, maybe 10 days at the outside. The 20% can be brought to weapons grade inside of 3 to 4 weeks. And let me say this, because I forgot this small little detail. In that first meeting, both the Iranian negotiators said to us directly, with no shame, that they controlled 460 kilograms of 60%, and they're aware that that could make 11 nuclear bombs, and that was the beginning of their negotiating stance. So they were proud of it. They were proud that they had evaded all sorts of oversight protocols to get to a place where they could deliver 11 nuclear bombs.
They just didn't think we'd have the balls to do it because they saw Europe being complete cucks and they saw America cucked under Biden. Well, that didn't work. That didn't work. So, like, it's so tiring watching people dance around making believe these are actually, like, secretly fantastic, wonderful people. CNN is, like, just literally trying to launder the Iranian regime's propaganda. And thank God there's that one guy on CNN that's shutting them down all the time.
If bombs dropping on the nuclear program and destroying them last year didn't help move forward those objectives.
Of course it helped. We obliterated their nuclear sites. We saw they're trying to rebuild and they're building ballistic missiles. They're all retarded, man. They're all retarded. They're all retarded.
Deterring the regime. Why do we think that suddenly this is going to do the same thing?
Because the people who weren't deterred are now dead. That's
but this is Iran.
Because we fucking killed those guys. Like, holy shit. Right, and it's watching the media, again, CNN, the reporters asking questions, they're just laundering their propaganda constantly. All right, J.D. Vance was cooking too.
You saw evidence that they were still trying to enrich?
Not just that they're trying to enrich, Jesse, and this is one of the almost comical elements of the diplomacy that we've been engaged in for the past month, the past year, I should say. You know, Steve Witkoff, Marco Rubio, Jared Kushner, they did such a good job, such a deliberate job. But the Iranians would come back to us, Jesse, and they'd say, well, having enrichment for civilian purposes, for energy purposes, is a matter of national pride. And so we would say, okay.
Pride. They want enriched weapons-grade uranium for pride. Totally not to bomb the shit out of us.
Hey, that's interesting, but why are you building your enrichment facilities 70 feet underground? And why are you enriching to a level that's way beyond civilian enrichment and is only useful if your goal is to build a nuclear bomb? Nobody objects to the Iranians being able to build, medical isotopes. The objection is these enrichment facilities that are only useful for building a nuclear weapon. Even some international organizations that usually don't agree with the United States were very clear that Iran's only purpose in building these underground, highly enriched facilities was to build a nuclear weapon.
Duh.
It just doesn't pass the smell test for you to say that you want enrichment for like medical isotopes, while at the same time trying to build the facility 70, 80 feet underground.
No one's buying this shit. No one's buying this shit. They were an existential threat, and I'm really glad we took care of it before they actually fucking killed us. Incredibly hot take. All right, let's see how HEGSETH dealing with these reporters. Because, again, it's shocking. It's actually shocking. This is the most obvious shit in the universe.
Go ahead.
Thank you for your time. What percentage of Iranian long-strike capabilities are still in the fight, and what is our exit strategy here, and when will it be deployed?
Well, they have long-range strike capabilities, which we are hyper-focused on. The brief we got just this morning, Admiral Cooper knows exactly and precisely what kind of threat matrix he's looking at, the way they might change their techniques and how we adapt to that. So we're making sure the theater commander has absolutely everything he needs. I mean, one of the things the chairman mentioned is for months and months, even before we built up, we ensured that we had maximum defensive capabilities in theater to allow the president the decision space in the future. So even before this build-up in the last 30 days, we discreetly brought defensive assets in to make sure, understanding that there are Iranian capabilities. As far as time frame, I would never hang a time frame from our perspective. The commander-in-chief sets the op tempo and terms of this fight. As I said, it's on his terms. And we'll make sure that Admiral Cooper and his team have everything they need, not just to defend. I mean, the best defense is good offense.
That's right.
And so we're aggressively pushing into that airspace over that southern flank to ensure that we control it and we destroy anything that moves that would attempt to shoot us.
Good.
Think of it as shooting the archer instead of the arrows. That's where we want to be. And we have the kind of exquisite intelligence to get over the top, find that and destroy it. It won't happen overnight. This is a big battle space with a lot of capabilities. That's part of the reason why it's such a threat to us. That's why I talk about conventional umbrella to blackmail nuclear ambitions. They were building up this conventional arsenal in order to ensure that no one would ever block them from their ability to get nuclear weapons. So we're very clear-eyed about the nature of this Iranian threat, and we're going to get after it. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the question. The only thing I'll add is that unlike an operation, a single operation like Midnight Hammer or Absolute Resolve, it'll take some time for us to conduct battle damage assessment, and the targeting cycle that CENTCOM will run will take those things into effect. Admiral Cooper will adjust his plan and fires accordingly to ensure that we're treating that. He's focused on long-range strike capability coming out of the enemy, and that's a key and essential part of it.
Yeah, we're killing them. We're killing them before they kill us.
Exist
pretty,
on the enemy
pretty
front.
simple.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say we're still doing BDA.
Yeah, we're still doing it. We're still killing their fucking guys that are trying to kill us. Yes.
Normally we'd be able to.
It's a big country. It's a country run by terrorists that their number one goal was destroying America for the last 47 years. They built lots of shit and we're destroying it. Yes.
See us.
The media is like, actually, why are we still striking it? Because they still have missiles. You fucking retards.
Singular thing, and we'd assess pretty
crazy,
quickly.
Dude.
He's doing offense and assessment simultaneously, so it'll take longer for us to assess than it would in a single operation.
Secretary HEGSETH, thank you. Reagan Reese with the Daily Caller. 2 questions for you. The president said yesterday in his video message that we will leave Iran when we complete all of our objectives.
Yeah.
What are our objectives?
You've got to be kidding me. I literally hate these people. It's unbelievable. We've defined this 1 billion times. Destroy Iran's missile capabilities, annihilate their navy, already destroyed 10 ships, 11 now actually, ensure the number one sponsor terror can't get nukes, and ensure that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies out of their borders. We've addressed this like 1 billion times. It's unbelievable. And they come back, what are our objectives? They make believe. Like, they're pushing by the fact that they're asking these questions. They're making believe that the objectives aren't incredibly clear. But it's unreal.
And can you share more information on how the soldiers who were killed were killed?
Well, I laid out the objectives, as did the chairman.
As did the chairman, as did Trump, as did Rubio. Everyone laid out the objectives. And the media, I think their new strategy here is not only talking about how it's illegal. It's not an illegal war. It's an undocumented war, okay? Get your terms straight. All right, that's one. And two, we all understand the objectives. Every normal person understands the objectives. These people were building weapons to kill us. We're trying to prevent that from happening.
Completely nested. I mean, Iran has an ability to project power against us and our allies in ways that we can't tolerate. So whether that's ballistic missiles and drones, so offensive capabilities, effectively their navy, which would attempt to set other terms and impose different costs, drone capabilities, which we laid out there, and ultimately, though this. Tying it back to Midnight Hammer, the president has been willing to make a deal. You can't have a nuclear bomb. Radical Islamists can't have a nuclear bomb that they wield against the world.
Because obviously.
He gave them every single opportunity. Then we precisely took it away. And even then, after that, they didn't have that. They didn't come to the table with a willingness to give it away. So ultimately, those nuclear ambitions, which never ceased, are something that had to be addressed as well. So that's a discrete sense of what's being addressed here to ensure that they can't use that conventional
Actually shocking
umbrella
that they're still asking these questions
to continue a pursuit of nuclear ambitions. And then, as it pertains to the U.S. casualties, that particular incident was, you have air defenses and the lot's coming in and you hit most of it, and we absolutely do. We have incredible air defenders. Every once in a while you might have one, unfortunately we call it a squirter that makes its way through, and in that particular case, it happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons. So
it's not a joke. We're trying to actually stop them from killing a lot of us. All right. Someone just sent me this clip. What's this?
Israel has clear missions as well, for which we are grateful. Capable partners, as we've said since the beginning, capable partners are good partners. Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls.
True.
Hemming and hawing.
True.
About the use of force.
Oh no, why did you take out a terrorist that's trying to kill you? International law. Tired of that shit. Get out of here.
America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history. B-2s, fighters, drones, missiles, and of course, classified effects.
Ooh, he unleashed the discombobulator. Fire the goy beam.
All on our terms.
That's right.
With maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise,
yes,
no politically correct wars.
Dude, I'm hearing all the right things. We're sending in a correct amount of transgenders in the military for suicide bombers. They're really good at that.
We fight to win, and we don't waste time.
They're mean, and they have a high rate of success.
Or lives.
Yeah, dude, honestly, absolutely. I'm really glad with basically what's happening in general. Obviously, every civilian that's dying, every soldier that's dying, it's an unbelievable tragedy. Every innocent death is a nightmare. But war is ugly, and unfortunately, it needs to happen sometimes. And honestly, every single one of these retards in the media that's making believe that this is a war that just never needed to happen, Iran was never a threat, they were never going to attack us, they're literally, in my opinion, discrediting our brave soldiers that are fighting, and some of them dying, 3 or 4 deaths now on the battlefield, and it's a tragedy. And God bless our troops, God bless America. And yeah, this has got to still be the greatest community note of all time. May Allah protect him. Allah did not protect him. Death to these fucking retards trying to kill us. And ideally, we kill them before they succeed. Well, this has been my incredibly large deep dive into all the things. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys. Big kisses to the people at home. Stay safe out there. Head on a swivel. These retards are in our countries too, by the way. Rest in shit, pedophile. See you in the next one. You get no bullshit here. Just straight facts. Oh, or at least I try my goddamn best. But I really think the new operation that the left and the media is trying to push is this idea that we don't understand the objectives of the war, which we very much do understand. Or Tucker Carlson pushing the idea that secretly Israel is bombing Qatar, which Qatar denied. All right? Pay attention to what you are consuming, the facts that you're reading, and what you're actually hearing and where it's coming from. Because this is an information war going on. And the American people are the victims. See you in the next one. Bye! Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.